Morning, honorable members.
Recording in progress.
How are you? Today is the continuation of our practice.
We could thank you, Chair. And how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. It's a winter morning. It's a winter day today in Gqeberha. And how are you? Mr. Bagram, how are you? Have you gone for your jab?
Thanks. I haven't gone for the jab as yet, but I will do so. I'm not an objector. I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Please do go. Good morning, honorable members. Can I check Mr. Sakaza if Ms. Isaacs is in?
Yes, Chair, she's in.
Oh, okay, okay. Can you just please take us through the roll call?
Okay, Chair, we'll do so now. Good morning, Honorable Chair, and good morning to all the members of the Portfolio Committee on Employment and Labour. Chair, today we have the following members who have just joined. You've got yourself, Chair, Honorable Dunjwa, Honorable Nkabane, Honorable Makubele, Honorable Mdabe, Honorable Nonsele, Honorable Bagram, Honorable Yinana, Honorable Kado, Honorable Mkondo, Honorable Denner. Honorable Zuma called me earlier to say she's struggling with her device, but I've sent her the link on WhatsApp. She's going to try on the phone. Chair, from the Portfolio Committee support staff, we've got myself, Chair, Tebuho Mkwena, we've got Suen Isaac from the Legal Service, and we also have Mr. Sisa Makeben, who's the State Law Advisor. Mr. Ngobo, Portia is still off because the baby is still not well, Chair. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Can we, from the department, is there anybody? And
Good
our
morning,
guest?
Chair. It's me, Temingosi Mkalipi, and my colleague Mtswaki Mamashela, and from the Deputy Minister's Office, we've got Karapo Mokakane. And I don't see Tando Wababa. I'm sure he's coming, he'll be late, Chair.
Okay. Okay. Today, then we are going to, I think, can I just confirm if the information that the support staff working together with the legal parliamentary legal officer has then been circulated to everybody? Can I get that confirmation? All members received the matter on the A-list document.
I received it, Chair.
Okay, all right. If there was anybody who didn't receive it, do we have guests, Mr. Sakaza?
Chair, I do see a few people that I don't know, like Lula Mamakia, I don't know, Chair.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair. This is General Smith from the Parliamentary Monitoring Group. Thank you.
Thank you. And Lula Mamakia is from where? Okay. Ms. Isaacs, if you are in, members can then go through to the document, which then has been a document that has been explained to us what we are then going to do today. I will then hand over to you, Ms. Isaacs. if you are connected. Oh, okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Chairperson. Chairperson, today the committee will consider the A list, which is the proposed amendments that the committee agreed to yesterday. If Zolani can just flight the A list for all the members. So we all can have a look at it at the same time.
Zolani, are you able to do that?
Yes, ma'am, I'm trying to get to it now. It should come on your screen shortly, Chair.
Yes, Chairperson. So the way the A list, the wording of the A list is just technical instructions. So when it says on page 3 in line 4, you would physically go to your bill that was introduced and would have to count where exactly that is. So I will just go through the first one. Number 1 is to amend clause 4, and in clause 4, the first amendment is on page 3 in line 14 to omit subsection 2, and that was the subsection that we're omitting was that said that the minister may prescribe criteria that must be taken into account in identifying sectors and subsectors for the purpose of the section. The committee agreed yesterday to remove that clause. The next proposed amendment that was agreed to is on page 3 in line 16. That is to omit subsection 3 and to substitute with the following subsection. And the subsection will read: the minister may, after consulting the relevant sectors and with the advice of the commission, for the purpose of ensuring the equitable representation of suitably qualified people from designated groups at all occupational levels in the workforce, by notice in the Gazette, set numerical targets for any national economic sector identified in terms of subsection 1. So the two changes there are that previously it said the National Minimum Wage Commission, and this is now changed to the Employment Equity Commission. We did not use the full phrase Employment Equity Commission because commission is defined as Employment Equity Commission. The other change is the consultation with the relevant stakeholders, and this was the proposal that came from the department. So it will be 2 types of consultation, one with the relevant stakeholders and the next is with the Employment Equity Commission. So Chairperson, that was the change that the committee discussed yesterday and accepted. We then move on to clause 10. Clause 10 is on, we're removing on page 4 in line 50. We are omitting subsection 1 and we will substitute it with the following. It will now read: a labor inspector may, and we're removing the words issue. It will now say a labor inspector may serve a compliance order. We're removing 2 and then we'll say on a designated employer in the prescribed manner if it has failed to comply with section 16, 17, 19, 22, 24, 25, and 26 of the Act. There, Chairperson, it was agreed that we remove the phrasing that said any person acting on behalf of the labor inspector. The committee agreed to remove that. The next clause is clause 11. Here, the committee agreed to reword a capital letter A. So it now reads on page 5 in line 5 to omit a capital A and to substitute with the following. It will now state whether the employer has complied with the sectoral targets as set out in terms of section 15A applicable to that employer. So those were one of the criteria in terms of section 42 of the Principal Act, and the committee had agreed to that being reworded. The next clause is clause 12. This deals with section 53.6 of the that will now be inserted in Principal Act. And this is about the minister issuing certificates and all the factors that will be taken into consideration, or all the criteria that must be met in order for the certificate to be issued. So the committee agreed to change the time periods from 3 years to 12 months. So the first item says on page 5 in line 19 to omit 3 years and to substitute with 12 months. And again, item 2 is on page 5 in line 22 to omit 3 years and to substitute with 12 months. Chairperson, those were the amendments that were discussed in the meeting yesterday and agreed to by the committee. While I was drafting the A list, I just picked up one technical amendment that I will now put to the committee. In the long title is the summary of key aspects of the bill. So section 53.6, which deals with those certificates that the minister must now issue, is a very important aspect of the bill, but it was missing from the long title. So I am suggesting to the committee that they also include that in the long title. So it will now have this phrase inserted after the word groups to insert to provide criteria for the minister to issue certificates. So that will change the long title to read as follows. To amend the Employment Equity Act so as to amend definitions, to insert definitions, to substitute definitions and to delete a definition, to provide for the minister to identify sectoral numerical targets in order to ensure the equitable representation of suitably qualified people from designated groups. And if the committee agrees to add this, to provide criteria for the minister to issue certificates and the rest will read, and to provide for matters connected therewith. Chairperson, those were that is the A list that was drafted, and it was sent to the department and the other officials, and the department was in agreement with the proposed changes as reflected. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Ms. Isaacs. Just for the benefit of members, I would appreciate before that you again explain where the technical amendment in the long title, which is on page 2, is it under the broad bill title, and then you have then put those. Am I correct? You have then put those. You are putting those which are a technical amendment. Am I correct?
Yes, Chairperson. If you look at the long title, after the second last line, it says designated groups. After groups, I propose we just insert the word to provide criteria for the minister to issue certificates. So it'll just be inserted there.
Okay. All right, honorable members, any takers?
Yeah, Madam Chair. Michael Bagram.
Yes, honorable Bagram.
Thank you. I understand the amendment and the technical reasons for the amendment itself. I just wanted recorded at this point that, first of all, I don't agree with employment equity legislation in the first place. It's social engineering. And second of all, any amendments that are taking place to the employment equity legislation is fruit from a poison tree. I'd like that specifically recorded, in that we know that in history, social engineering has never worked. It never can work. We saw that from apartheid, which was social engineering, which was dangerous. We saw that from the Nazi approach to the Holocaust, which was social engineering as well. And so I just wanted everything noted in terms of all of this, that I have an objection to any of the amendments and I have an objection to the legislation in the first place. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Begram. Any other comment?
Nontsele, Honorable Chair.
Mkondo? Honorable Mkondo?
And dinner, please, Chair.
Honorable Dana? Honorable Nontsele?
Morning, Honorable Chair. Morning, Honorable members. Chair, I first support the presentation in full, except just one area of clarity. On the second, that is on 2, which is on page 3 in line, that is line 16, which are to omit the subsection 3 and to substitute it with the following. Can you go down here? It then reads that the minister may, after consulting the relevant sectors and with the advice of the commission. The point here I need just clarity, Chair, is whether the commission is not in fact explained in full whether it's commission on employment equity or what, or is it going to be covered on the list of interpretations earlier on, or is it just an omission that needs to be corrected? Because the submission was that it should be advice of the commission, that is Employment Equity Commission. Yes. So that's clarity. Otherwise, I fully agree and support the amendments as presented, Chair. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Nontsele. Honorable Mkondo?
Good morning, Chair, honorable members, and the staff. Chair, on clause 12, Ms. Isaacs yesterday promised that there can be a word that can replace if the minister is satisfied. Mina, I thought maybe he will come up with that word and we all see if that maybe can be a better word than satisfied, because to some of us, satisfied, it's a personal feeling. I know that it was seconded yesterday that it should stay, but maybe I thought today will be given that alternative word and we'll be able to look at it. Otherwise, Chair, all the other amendments are as we agreed yesterday. Thank you.
Honorable Dana?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning and good morning to everyone. I have one question and then I would also like to place my objection on record, but in clause 3, where it is stated suitably qualified people, what would qualify as suitably qualified? What is the criteria for someone to be suitably qualified? And then also I would like to place on record that the department and the government is busy over-regulating the labour sector, and this will lead to more job losses, and the strengthening of this employment equity legislation will lead to more job losses, and I do not agree with this legislation. So I want that to be placed on record, and I think that we should not even consider any amendments to this act. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, honorable members. Can I establish can I establish from Honorable Mkondo that you are also seconding the formally approved insertion in terms of the broad, definition by Ms. Isaacs, the one that is highlighted yellow. In you
Yes,
agree?
Chair. Yes, Chair.
Okay. Two things. Well, I will allow the department to respond, but my understanding is that they did explain what is entailed, what satisfaction means. But again, unfortunately, we will then allow Mr. Mkhonto, I'm sorry, Mr. Mkhaliphi to explain what is meant by prescribed people, because that should have been asked yesterday.
Chair. Sorry, Chair.
Honorable Mkhonto.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Chair. Mr. Mkhaliphi did explain yesterday, but Ms. Isaacs said there can be a word that can be used to replace satisfied if the minister is satisfied. Mr. Mkhaliphi did explain that satisfied is not a word alone there. It is, he will be satisfied or she will be satisfied with the subsections that are under that section. But Ms. Isaacs said there can be a word that can be used to replace satisfied. I thought we'll be given that word and look at it if maybe it will be more suitable to the bill than satisfied. Thanks, Chair.
Chair, if I can come in here, my hand is up.
In which area?
Responding to Honourable Nkonto's point.
Can we, before Ms. Isaacs?
Yes, Chair. So I think what Ms. Isaac actually suggested yesterday was that under Section 11, or rather Clause 12, where it says Section 53 of the Principal Act is hereby amended by the addition of the following subsection, and it goes on to say the Minister may only issue a certificate in terms of subsection 2 if the Minister is satisfied. That is that Ms. Isaac suggested that we just simply delete everything after subsection 2. So you take out if the Minister is satisfied that, and it would just read the Minister may only issue a certificate in terms of subsection 2 if, and then it goes on to list all those A, B, C, D, E points. And I think that's a perfectly good way of addressing the challenge, because it doesn't change the meaning of the text that follows in any way. That's my point on the specific issue, Chair. Thanks.
Yes, Chair. Chair. Chair.
You are not allowing Ms. Isaacs, who's alleged to be a sponsor to a different, who said they need to respond to that. Now you want to, okay.
No, we want to protect Ms. Isaacs, Chair, because we're part of the meeting.
Okay.
Yes, because the points that are submitted by Honorable Kato are not true.
Okay.
They're not true. Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair.
Okay, well, let's go back and listen to the recording yesterday. I think you'll find you are wrong.
I have not, no, there will be order. There will be order in this meeting. I know that a bill is a very emotive subject, but can members speak when they have been pointed to? I'm humbly requesting that. Ms. Isaacs?
Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, with regard to the first question regarding why the word commission is used as opposed to Commission for Employment Equity, members will remember that this is an amendment bill. The Employment Equity Act is already in operation, and there are various definitions already included in the Principal Act. So one of the definitions is commission, which says commission means the Commission for Employment Equity, established by Section 28. So because this act is now going to amend the Principal Act, there's no need to include it in full. The definitions as exist in the Principal Act will apply to the Amendment Act once it is enacted into law. Chairperson, with regard to the issue in Clause 12 about satisfied, Chairperson, is merely the phrasing. I think the committee didn't agree with it. It's possible if the committee wanted to remove those words, the meaning would still stay the same. the minister may only issue a certificate in terms of subsection 2 if, and then those criteria will still be there. The contention was satisfied kind of seems to give the minister a subjective discretion, while those criteria that are listed there are objective criteria. So it was just merely a suggestion to clean up the wording. I think the committee did consider it and didn't agree with that. Chairperson, with the other question about, if I'm not quite sure about it, said there was member Diana said there was a question about suitably qualified people. I'm not sure what is that in respect of.
She was asking what's the meaning of suitable people. So I wanted that to be, I wanted the department maybe.
Yes,
to just
sure, Chair.
Can I just before the department comes in, sorry for that. If a person, because I don't, the issue of satisfied, I don't take it as being a personal thing. In a court of law, a question may arise from the presiding magistrate or judge that what did you do on this? I had to satisfy myself by checking A, B, C, D. So everybody that has got a responsibility on something, that person has got a responsibility to satisfy himself or herself on whatever. So it's not about being personal in my understanding. And I'm humbly requesting that if we have got a problem with whatever, which is not going to change the content of the, when we debate, as members have already started doing that, we can pick up those things, because that word is not changing the content of what is then said to be proposed, and which we then have agreed. Mr. Mkhaliphi, can you come in?
Thank you, Chair. The question about what is the meaning of the word suitably qualified, if honorable members could look in the definitions of the law, we are not making any reference to this in our amendment, but the law defines what a suitably qualified person is. And in the definition, it says it means a person contemplated in section 23 and 4. And then if you go to section 23 and 4, it indicates that for purpose of this act, a person may be suitably qualified for a job as a result of any one of or any combination of that person's formal qualification, prior learning, relevant experience, or capacity to acquire within a reasonable time the ability to do the job. Then number 4 would say, when determining whether a person is suitably qualified for a job, an employer must review all the factors listed in subsection 3. And B, it says, determine whether the person has the ability to do the job in terms of any one of or any of the combination of those factors. Therefore, section 20, subsection 3 and 4 define what suitably qualified means. It's already in the law, and we're not making any changes to those sections. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mkondo. In that, Ms. Isaacs, I'm of the understanding that we must then put the A list for it to be adopted, because there are members who have already now objecting to all this, even to the amendments themselves, which that will come at an appropriate time when we're tabling the bill in the House. just for your guidance, we are correct by then adopting this so that we then move to the next bill because after this now we will then go to, there will then be a bill list which all what we have said will then be inserted. I'm checking with you for guidance that that is correct.
Yes, Chairperson, if the committee adopts the amendments, then we can get the B-bill produced, which will be brought to the committee in the next meeting for them to adopt that version of the bill.
Can I then put to the meeting that who is then, can we get a formal mover with the amendments, the deletions that have been made for the A list to be formally adopted? Honorable Mdabe.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and good morning to you and the honorable members, staff, and everybody else. I, Sibusiso Mdabe, formally moved for the adoption of the A list as it has been amended to be approved. Thank you.
Can we get a formal seconder?
Chairperson.
Thanks, Chair.
Chairperson.
Yes.
I, Honorable Sibongile Zuma, I formally second Honorable Mdabe to second the bill of the 80.
Okay, I think there have been objections that have been already tabled.
Yes, please note the objection of the Democratic Alliance, Chair.
As well as the Freedom Plus, please, Chair.
Thank you. No, thank you, honorable members. Then at the Honorable Mkondo.
Please note my abstinence.
Thank you, Honorable Mkondo. That's noted. At the appropriate time, when then we'll, because remember that it's a committee sitting, we'll have to produce a report. Then we'll do that. But now the legal and the committee section together with the legal, I must Mr. Mkalipi, I want to record my dissatisfaction and discomfort for the department not coming with a person who is to accompany you, a legal person. Not that I undermine your abilities, but they know that that is what is supposed to happen. You are to be accompanied by a legal person who is employed by the national, by the employment, not unless he is in today. As much as what is critical and important for us to be able to continue is from our side, and that Ms. Isaacs is with us. Can I establish, Ms. Isaacs, that on COIDA, because I have been informed that you are not the one who's going to take us through on COIDA, it's somebody else, am I correct, or is it still you?
No, it's my colleague, Mr. Mjekane.
Mr. Mjekane, and I hope Mr. Mjekane has been has been with us in all these processes, and so that we are able to move swiftly. And I want to thank you very much for guiding us professionally, and I hope that you will continue to do that. Thank you very much. Members, next week, Wednesday, Thursday, it's our deliberations on COIDA. Please get all your documents, information, responses, in front of you, because we will go through the same process as we did with the employment equity. Thank you very much. Until we then meet again next week, Wednesday at 10 o'clock, Mr. Sakas.
Thank you,
Please.
Chair. Noted, Chair.
Can we go back to 10 o'clock? Our
Are
meeting.
are we done, Chair?
Yes, we are.
Oh, shortest meeting ever. Thanks very much, Chair.
On employment and labor. You didn't indicate that you want to speak. I don't know what's wrong with us today.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chair.
But thank you very much. Thank you very much. Until we meet again next week.
Bye, Chair.
Bye. Mr. Pegram, are you still around? You must go for your jab. I'm going to monitor you. He is gone already. Bye.
He went for his jab.
He's going for his jab. I hope so. Hey, but it makes you a bit. Oh, I'm feeling feverish. I'm forever feeling feverish, but I'm fine. I'm going for my second shot sometime in July, but I'm okay. Bye. Stay safe, good people. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Chair. I'm closing the meeting now. Thank you. Bye, Chair.
Yes, bye. No more, Nazolan.